Welcome to Teen Up, a podcast that digs deeper into the thoughts of teenagers' mind about the wonders of the world.
If you're new here, I'm your host, Isabella.
And I'm Glenn. If you're not, welcome back.
Here is a quick disclaimer. We are two teenagers that are doing our best to research everything. However, we are not experts, so if we offend anyone or say something wrong, we want to apologize in advance. Please email us to tell us what was wrong. Thank you. So here's our takeaway. We've realized, as you may have realized as well if you have listened to the past episodes, that no matter if it is myths or scientific theories, they all have something in common. Before the universe, there was nothing but a complete void. So let's recap a little. In the first episode, we talked about the Big Bang Theory and our thoughts on the beginning of the universe. In the second episode, we talked about the creation myths from different cultures and traditions. And for the third episode, we talked about some other new theories from different perspectives and a philosophical concept of nothingness.
Okay. So, in this episode, we are going to talk about what we think, again, after we explored these different topics.
Right. So what do you think, Glenn?
So, in the first episode, I said I think the universe is a simulation. I still think it could be a simulation now. But for now, I think I'm gonna have to believe in the Big Bang Theory. I mean, it does have the most proof among these different theories.
Right, I totally agree with you. Like in the first episode, I said that I believed in the Big Bang Theory, and I still stand by my position after these episodes. And we have realized that the creation myths are somewhat very similar to our scientific theories, although they're not based on any science stuff.
Yeah, and even though the Big Bang Theory has a few things that are not explained very well, like what's before the universe and what's gonna be, like what is after the universe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And how the universe is going to end. But it does have scientific proof on multiple phenomenon that we see today, or like the scientists see today.
Right, right.
So I do think that it could be improved, and some of it could be from ideas in different cultures, or from myths, or even, those wrong ideas we talked about.
Right. So, there are most definitely some other theories that I think we have not talked about.
Yeah, and there are theories that we didn't talk about, like very in depth, like say the parallel universe.
That is a very difficult theory.
Yeah, and the thing is that scientists are still working on that theory, and so in the Big Bang Theory, the show,
okay,
the leading actor, he's a scientist. He's a physicist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a physicist. And his main work is about string theory.
Oh,
So that actually does have something to do with parallel universe. And that is something that scientists are still working on.
Right.
And because, we are searching these beginning of the universe thing very much recently, I get these articles from Google News, and I would see that, like, oh, they have different discoveries. They prove something wrong. They think the universe might be a simulation or whatnot. Like, I see a lot of article about that recently. It means that people are still working on it.
Definitely. This is, I think if we're able to break through these findings, the world's concept is going to change a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like how we perceive things.
It's going to be a big breakthrough. Yeah.
It's like in the last episode, we talk about how time is just a concept and it's not something that actually exists.
Right.
So I'm thinking that maybe we would have a breakthrough if we overlook time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that would be so confusing.
I know.
For me, I cannot look at the world without time. That's definitely, yeah, I can't.
Because if you think this way, that time is not a real thing, it's just something we created. Maybe it's just something that is actually holding us back because we have to think about the world in a frame of time.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like the physics laws that are sort of restraining us from discovering new things. Although I do not know if there are other things to discover, like beyond these laws, but it's kind of the same thing as time.
Yeah, but in this case, time is not even a real law if you think that time is just a concept.
Right.
It is very hard to perceive, though, that because we talk about time all the time. See, I just talked about time.
Right.
And, like, time is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we go to bed at 12, we wake up at 6,
Mm-hmm.
we eat lunch at 12.
Right. It's like even just watching sci-fi movies, where they, play with the concept of time. It is really hard for me to grasp as well. I forgot if it was the movie Interstellar. Have you watched that?
Yeah, and we talked about it.
Oh, right. Yeah, that movie was playing with the concept of time, and it took me a long time to understand what was going on in the movie.
Definitely. I think time is just like an idea that we cannot break.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like something that holds the world together in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because like literally everything has to do with time.
Right, definitely.
Like I was watching this movie the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Netflix. It's called Mank.
Okay, what was it talking about?
So it was talking about it's actually a biography of this person called Herman Mankiewicz.
Okay.
Okay, but what the movie about is not the point that I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that in this movie, they have this really cool narration style.
Mm-hmm.
And it's playing with time because it uses many flashbacks. And at first, it's just very confusing because we perceive things chronologically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a lot of time thing. Coming back to the beginning of the universe.
Okay, so I was a little bit off topic talking about time and stuff.
Right.
I think another topic in the beginning of the universe, or like the universe in general, is what's the void.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talked about it in our 3rd episode.
Right. Basically.
Yeah, we talked about the basic ideas.
And there is actually no right or wrong answer about this because, I mean, no one knows. It's all just philosophy, right?
Yeah.
It's just philosophers trying to make sense of the world, and their way of making sense is to basically not think about nothingness or this void, because it does not make sense to the brain. So, yeah.
What if that is the point?
What do you mean?
Because it's nothingness, so you don't think about it.
That makes sense. Mm.
If you don't think about it, then you are thinking about it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that is totally weird. But I mean, it's nothingness. How do you...
Uh-huh, like it's not meant to be thought about.
Yeah, it's like, you talked about it, it's like zero.
Uh-huh.
And, okay, it reminds me of this joke that Siri has.
Siri? Okay.
Yeah. So it's saying that somebody asked Siri, what's the answer of 1 divided by 0? So it's actually undefined.
Uh-huh.
So the answer from Siri is actually that what if you have 1 cookie and you're gonna split it with 0 friends?
What's the answer?
The answer is you're gonna eat it yourself and it's yummy.
Okay. Siri has really strange jokes.
Yeah, I know. But the point being, it's very hard to perceive 0, like nothingness.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess just try to not think about it. Then you've achieved understanding nothingness.
Well, I mean, you could say that.
Uh-huh.
But I guess it's still very hard to understand why is our universe expanding into nothingness? Like, still, we're gonna just ask, where are we expanding into?
True. Maybe just don't think about it that way. Just think that we're expanding and don't ask where.
Is it like getting fat?
What do you mean?
So like if I'm getting fat, then I'm expanding.
Sure. I don't know, sure. Okay, so another recap, I guess, from episode 2. The creation myths, one of them was creation from chaos, which I thought totally makes sense, because we're always going to be more complex and more chaos.
Like the entropy thing.
Right, and it'll just start all over again. Perhaps we're not from nothing, Perhaps we're from a world that has gone into chaos and now it's in more order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be one of the reasons.
Yeah, maybe if you don't want to think about nothingness, you could believe in these creation myths called creation from chaos. You don't really have to believe you don't really have to believe the Big Bang Theory, right?
That reminds me of the Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
So, I think I talked about it, but somebody say that our universe is from a previous universe.
Oh, right. Yeah. You've said.
Maybe that's kind of similar.
Right. I think that is a lot easier for people to think about. Whereas the Big Bang Theory, you have to think about,
Scientific stuff.
nothingness. Right. And about, where did the exploding point come from? But if we're from, a past world, we don't have to know about it. I mean, I guess there would be questions of, then where did the past world go? Or things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the point of all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just keep asking questions about these things.
I mean, it is true that this is the way we grow knowledge or explore into different topics and stuff.
It's by asking questions. It's also like how we start this season. Like, where does our universe come from?
Right.
And we want to explore that topic.
Mm-hmm. And I think we've definitely explored and learned a lot from doing these research. It doesn't completely answer my own questions, but I guess it does give me a basic understanding of what I need to know about this question,
Yeah, it does make us understand the beginning of the universe more.
Right.
And the reason behind it. So, about the myths, I feel like most scientific ideas, most of them, I think were once thought of as myths.
Yeah, I would say so.
And some scientific idea became wrong after somebody discovered something new. So what I'm trying to say is there is no exact right or wrong.
Right. Science is always changing, although it is, based on science. But when we discover new things, things are going to change.
Because, see, the Big Bang Theory is not complete.
Right.
And when we're trying to explore more, we discover more. And from that, we learn new things, we construct new ideas, and sometimes we, discover that past beliefs are wrong.
Right. I mean, I guess the theory of stimulation, it was a newer thinking, a newer theory, but it was also denied because it didn't have enough proof.
Yeah, and I think that simulation idea has been around for quite a while. And I actually saw articles talking about it. We're never gonna know, right?
Right. A lot of science stuff, I would say. I mean, I completely believe in science, as I have said in the first episode, but nothing's sure of.
Yeah, it kind of... Okay, so in science, you have this law.
Right.
So it's actually from our chemistry class.
Oh, okay.
It's talking about how you will never... you can't measure electron.
Oh, wait.
It's saying that when you're measuring it, you're already disrupting it.
Uh-huh.
So that's why you you will never know like where it is or like what it truly is, because when we are looking at it, we are already changing it. And I do think that is a very interesting concept or like idea.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of annoys me how we cannot get exactly where the electrons are, but it's okay. Don't disrupt the, like, nature. Don't disrupt nature.
It kind of, yeah,
Right.
I was kind of shocked when I first heard that because, you know, in middle school, our science class was always like, oh, it's this and that, and it's always like fact-based.
Right. There's always an answer, right?
Yeah, and this time, it's like, oh, we don't have an answer, and we're never going to have an answer because that's the answer. The answer is we don't have an answer.
Right. Like doing statistics, we still have like margins of error, you know, stuff like that.
Anyways, so let's wrap up. Okay, so to sum up this whole season, our first month,
we are still leaving some questions behind for both you and us to think about. You know, like how time and space is so confusing and we can't really understand it unless, you know, someone actually has discovered something.
Yeah, and there are still many things that we still don't know about. Maybe other people do know. So we will be very glad if you are somebody who knows a lot about it and will be willing to share it with us. Maybe teach us these stuff about the universe.
Right. That would be amazing.
Yeah, and you can send us an email or, you know, use other ways to reach us. We will be very, very glad.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and share our channel.
Also, comment down below if you have any thoughts. You could click on the bell to get notified when we upload a new video as well.
Thank you and bye.